Good evening, everyone. Thank you once again for joining me on Arts Class and Everything in Between. I am your host, Eileen, aka Eileen the Little Crofter, and with me I have Zazie Collins from Tsunami Rose. I love that name, girl. You have no idea. It is such a pretty name. Now, Daisy and I met, guys, through a very fun and crazy design team call in which we were to produce projects every day, and she called me crazy for producing a video every day to try and help sales. So I just wanted to say thank you for coming on the show. And how you doing, girl? What's going on?
Gosh, thank you so much for having me, Eileen. You were totally crazy. I mean, I did a card every day, but doing a video was just like, you're over the top, and I totally love that.
Oh, no, you're welcome. I had such a fun time, and I'm sorry that I couldn't complete the end of the term for that because I got sick during it, but, I really appreciated the design.
Some months I didn't complete it either. It's okay.
No, but I did have a fun time, and a lot of people are you, I had a couple of friends that were telling me, she wants you to design a card every day, and I'm like, yeah, I'm having fun, and they're like, I've never heard that. I'm like, you know what, it's okay with me, because it was something different, and it made me think outside of the box, especially the design patterns that you were giving us were like something that I really appreciated, and made me really think. So, are you still doing that, or what are you what is your plan for your Etsy shop, which is Tsunami Rose, in case anybody forgot the name?
Yes. Well, basically, my husband has brought that back up. He's brought that idea back up to me. He's like, well, wow, do that old sketches like you used to do, and I'm like, that's an awesome idea. And I'm gonna start doing some sketches. We'll see how fast I can design them. I'm not sure, but for right now, I'm trying to focus on designing journals and making that the main focus of my shop, and having all the other things I design kind of be like things that you can use to incorporate in those journal designs.
Okay, and tell everybody what exactly, how did you get the name, and what exactly do you sell on your Etsy shop?
Okay, so basically, was a screening. Was like 13 and in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
That was like one of my first online usernames.
Mm-hmm.
And so after, when I grew up, because I was only a teenager, but when I grew up, I couldn't think of anything else to call my business other than what I've been calling myself since I was a teenager. So Tsunami Rose was that.
And tsunami basically means like weather. Like, I forgot exactly what it means, but it's pretty cool. I love the name. It was just very unique, and I love saying it to everybody. Oh yeah, designed for Tsunami Rose, and like her. I'm like, trust me, you're gonna love it. So
basically in my head.
Okay, there's
picture like waves of roses, and that sounds lovely to me.
Yeah, that is awesome. That is a very good description of roses whirling around. Who doesn't love roses? You know.
Yeah, like I've always loved floral patterns, and so like ever since I was a child, if you look at all my photos, like I'm always wearing like a flower dress, a flower shirt, flower pants. For some reason, I've been drawn to flowers. My name is
Daisy. Yeah,
and I just love that in all of my designs because it just goes along with it.
Yeah. So basically,
basically in my Etsy shop, I sell printable scrapbook paper, printable journal kits, which are really popular right now, and just printable ephemera for those kits, as well as like sentiments and stamps that I have on there. Everything is printable and at home, scrapbook from home, and print out as many as you want.
And how big are these excuse me, I want to say, how large are they able to print these out when they get them? Like, what is the max without the resolution going all wonky?
And It's not a CD, so it should always print out in PDF. If you have a product like on a CD, that could lose its quality. But files like to lose quality, and like if you purchase from my store and you are ever to say lose your computer brain or stuff like that happens.
Mm-hmm. Wow, so you actually are able to let the person get their material back. That's amazing, and that's I think that's very commendable on your part because you know that a lot of shops don't do that, and it just it gets me a little like why did you not it gets me a little mad when they don't do that, but it is what it is. And how long have you been designing digital scrapbooking and knowing that this was kind of like your passion of doing these wonderful art, digi arts, basically.
Well,
Oh.
basically, 3 years ago, I got laid off from my cashiering position, and so
Mhm.
then I had like nothing to do, and so I was finally able to use up all my scrapbook stuff that I had,
Mhm.
and then just use stuff and having all this time, it was fun. And then I was like, well, what if I were to design paper? Like, I know I could. I was like, I could design this. And so then I started messing around with some stuff, and it looked nice. And then I had my blog because I was bored at home. And so I started my blog, and then, then it just snowballed, really. After I lost my job and I had all this free time, I'm like, what do I do with all this time? So I started scrapbooking. And, I mean, I've been designing using Photoshop since I was 15. So I've always been doing some graphic design of some sort. And then I went to college for it. I didn't finish college. I'm almost done. I just haven't gone back. Yeah, I've always been designing, and my mom always had me doing crafty stuff at home. So I've
Mhm.
always been crafty. And then just like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I discovered scrapbooking. And then, like I said, it just all evolved into I'm designing my own papers now. And I don't know, it's just a snowball effect, really.
No, no, and I think that that's really really wonderful and combining your two loves into one idea, and I think that it you can tell in the quality of your work that you really enjoy the detailing of it. There's no mistaking in that. So it's just like if you guys look at her work, you guys can see the detail, the passion, and the it's like even the roses, they look so real. It's just I look at them and I'm like, holy smokes, you gotta be kidding me. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about was you designed a new line. What inspired you about this new line, and what is the name of it again? Which I forgot to write down. My apologies.
I'm sorry, hang on. I think our quality is really low. I don't know why. I can't hear you very well.
Okay, let me
Can you
see.
ask that question again?
Not a problem. I said, what is the name of your new line and what inspired it of your scrapbooking paper?
Oh, okay. So my newest printable is called Roses Your. I just released it earlier this month.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it's just blue and pink. It was the inspiration for it. And of course, I always do vintage. So I just picked the blue rose pattern and then like a pink roses. And I just used two flowers for the whole journal compared to how I've done my journals in the past where I use like 24 flowers in the journal. So
Uh-huh.
this time I kind of kept it a little bit more consistent in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
but still it has that vintage and it's horizontal instead of vertical.
Oh, okay. And okay, this may be a little bit of devil advocacy here, but okay, like that there's a lot of different companies that are doing the vintage and the roses. Like, how do you feel like when you see a design and it kind of reminds you of you, or are you still going to take that floral direction, or are you just going to take it to the next level? And as time goes by, like what are your plans for your designs, if you don't mind me asking that?
Um, well, I have basically in the past I wasn't very confident Like, the way I see it is people in the industry pay attention to those who have a lot of sales and a lot of viewers and a lot of followers.
Mm-hmm,
So in the
mm-hmm.
beginning, I was like, I'm not really nobody. I'm not going to go to a store, to a big company and be like, well, I sold 10 items. You know what I mean? I want to go to them and say, I have thousands of sales and lots of followers and, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I've been working towards that, and I finally what did I hit? 20 or 6 in the last 3 years that I've sold. So I am very happy right now at the point that I'm at, but definitely I would like to see my designs in stores and see Prima talking about my stuff or see somebody else talking about my stuff. So that would be very exciting. Like I said, I'm finally gaining my confidence, and you always feel like you do work today, but tomorrow you could do something better. You know what I mean? So I always
Yeah.
feel like, oh, I could do something better. And it just feels like everything I design, I'm like, well, that's good, but what else could I do? When time goes by and it's terrible. I was talking to somebody earlier, and it's just like, when you have like endless possibilities, it's like really hard to narrow stuff down to like, okay, what is my best?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And since you're your critic, it could be like Picasso, and he's looking at his work, and it's like, nah, and you're like, dude, you're Picasso. You mean like anything you do is great. I have to start thinking, hey, you're great. You need to start showing your stuff to other people. So I've been gaining that confidence, and then like I said, just not to be honest with you, like I wasn't confident in myself for the last 3 years, and I'm finally at a point where I'm like healthy, in my body, and the confidence is just coming back, and I know it's time for me to actually get out there and talk to these big companies about, hey, look at my stuff, I can do stuff like what you're showing right now,
Yeah.
what you're selling now, my works could sell as well. And I have gotten good feedback from some big companies. I just have to like narrow what I want to do and get my portfolio together to show them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, the question that I asked is because I read an article and I can't remember exactly where, and I've also read something. No, not read that. I also heard on the buzzes about the crops, or the big like conferences. Like when the companies come out with their new things, that they said basically vintage is kind of like not falling out of favor, but it's kind of like dying down. What do you say to that? What do you think about that? Like, what is your impression about that? Being such a vintage, person with the paper and the colors and stuff like that. What do you make of all that? And how does that affect your
Vintage,
business?
vintage changes.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? 90s isn't technically vintage, but kids are dressing like it's the 90s now, and so there's always going to be a vintage. Even 10 years ago, that's vintage. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
So you can't really get away from that. You could always update your vintage look, but it's still going to be vintage. You know what I mean? Maybe it's not early 1800s vintage. Maybe now it's moving on to 1950s or even the 90s, and that's cool. I could roll with that. I could
No.
I could slap on flowers anywhere.
I gotcha. I gotcha. No, no, no. Now, would you say that your vintage is kind of like steampunkish, or would you say your vintage is vintagey, or would you say it's shabby chic, or what I mean, vintage? Like it can just go with everything. How do you define it, and what is your style?
Um, to me, I just do vintage, and I could, because basically I don't like draw anything that I use. I use vintage images to make what I create.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all vintage. I really don't even definition of shabby chic is, because I thought
Yeah,
that was just vintage with like lace on it. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's what I thought
Which is what
too.
I do when I call vintage. I call shabby chic. It just looks cute together. You
Yeah,
know.
no, it's just like
But
vintage.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would just say it's vintage slathered with flowers.
I like that. I like it a lot. Vintage slathered with flowers. You heard that here first, people. So, what is besides going on to the next, like next stage with the big companies, what is your plan for now? I mean, I know that you are asking for people for design DTs, for which is if you guys don't know what DT stand for, it's design team calls. Now, what are you looking for in designers? Like what sets another person apart? Because I think that when people go out for these design teams, I think that it's very important, that they know what exactly it is that you're looking for as a person that designs these wonderful art. Like what sets somebody apart for you?
So basically, to me, when I see big companies put out their projects and stuff, it always makes me feel like, wow, that person is like on some sort of level that I am not in. You know what I mean? And so I really like to recruit people of all crafting levels. Like if you're just beginning or if you've been in the game for a long time and your work is like very intricate, that's awesome. Come on, come on board. I want everybody to know that you can use my designs at a beginning level and at like a crazy
Elaborate level,
all I'm
yeah.
looking for is somebody at some sort of crafting level that loves to make designs, who is able to print stuff out at home, which would be more convenient, and that, loves to craft and has a blog. That's
Yeah.
pretty much it.
And I'm so excited you're finally on YouTube. That is awesome. I love you. I love watching your videos, and I hope that you get a chance to film some more. I was just sitting there in awe, and I'm like, yay, she finally has a YouTube video. Yay!
Yeah, I was, like I keep saying, it's just like I could have settled for the 720p camera, but that was not going to be enough until I got the 1080p, and then it's like, okay, now I can do some videos. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I gotcha. I just, for me, I just found the camera that I felt was more comfortable and convenient for me, and the quality I think is pretty good, and I love the audio on this camera. So yeah, I forgot what it is, but it's something that I saw a lot of vloggers use, and I'm like, if they can use it and it's convenient for them, then I thought it was going to be really convenient for me because me having a little one and having two shows is I must be crazy, right?
I hear you. And I don't know, I'm very picky. And sometimes that can, like, hold me back, where I'm like, okay, well, I can wait for something better. And that, it also goes along with being a procrastinator.
Not for nothing, I would never think that of you. Like, I see you more as a free loving go person that kind of is like, okay, I want to see everybody's talent and I want to learn from everybody, but I've never thought of you as picky or a procrastinator. That actually never crossed my mind, believe it or not.
I'm picky when it comes to me, my stuff, what I create.
Oh.
What you create, that's cool. That's awesome. Made the best choice for me. And yeah, I've always been a procrastinator. I've just always. I can't even remember a point where I wasn't. So like, I'll get it done, but it'll be done 5 minutes before the deadline. But it'll get done.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I was telling a good friend of mine. Our best work was when it was like due like 2 minutes, and we stayed up all night writing it, writing the paper, and that's when our best work was out at our peak. So yeah, I know how you feel. So yeah, it's been. So is anything else like in the horizons? Are you working on the next project? What's? Come on, give me a little juicy details, girl. I can't believe we froze. The universe doesn't want me to hear the juicy details. Okay, hold on, folks. Let me get her back. Daisy, can you hear me? Okay, hold on, guys. Let me. We're calling. Daisy? Alright, guys. I don't know what's going on. Let me see what's going on. Let me try this one more time. Daisy?
Hello?
Okay, all right. I was saying to the audience, no, the universe doesn't want us to hear the juicy universe, the juicy info. All right, girlfriend, give it to us. What is your kind of sneak peek that you have for us? Just maybe just a little something.
Okay, well, I like I said, I was talking about the sale that I'm having till May 1st. And then I posted up an ad, and it had like a postcard or like some sort of envelope, and it was like blue, pink, and some roses. And this one girl was like, well, you should design something like that for a book. And I'm like, and then like 5 other people were like, yeah, you should do that. Okay, I guess now I have to. So that's what I'm doing.
Yay! That sounds like
It's
fun. I can't
yeah,
wait
like
to
a
see.
postal, lots of envelopes, lots of postcards.
Yeah, no, that seems to be big with the we are memory keepers, envelope punches and stuff like that. And I forgot what other line came up with some envelopes and stuff like that. Oh, the Tim Holtz came up with something like that. So that seems pretty big nowadays. I don't know. And the Primo, I don't know. It's so hard to keep up with all these companies.
It's a very popular theme, but I don't think I've seen any printable journals in that theme specifically.
No. And that's something unique. I gotta say that is really unique. And I love the colors you use. I'm not really a pink person, but when you put in the blues and when you put in your creams and the yellow that you use is really absolutely gorgeous. And I have to say that you stay to that vintage and you stay to those. I don't know, because like when paper companies are like always the pinks and the bright colors, and you stay true to, okay, there are girls out there that are gonna be super girly, and there are girls that are gonna be, or women or men, the crafters that want to be kind of a little feminine but not too over the top. So I have to commend you on that. That's a really nice blend. And how do you keep that? Like, how do you keep that blend in your head? Or is it just...
I don't know. I just design it.
She's like, I'm just having fun, Eileen.
I'm glad you like it. I don't know how it happens. I don't know.
Yeah, especially the Father's Day, because I remember that, and I have to the next time if I get a chance, I'll show you some of the stuff that I made. But the Father's Day theme that you had was really really nice. I like the vintage images, and the colors that you used were just perfect. And I was like, oh, this is perfect, because you know how it is. Sometimes it's really hard to make a masking card. We're so used to making cards for girls, women in our lives, that when you sit down to make a masking card, you're like, oh no, not again. Like another birthday.
That was actually some of the first stuff I designed for print. And so basically I'm going to do an updated set on that too. Now that you're reminding me, it's on the list.
Ah, nice. Thank you. That would be awesome, especially since Father's Day, is coming around that June. And I know us crafters are always wanting, I don't know, I find giving a homemade card a little bit more something extra. And I think that my husband, he'll probably look at me like, no, you didn't just say that. I think my husband appreciates it because he knows how much effort I put into my cards, and it's something special to me, So I as a crafter, I appreciate that you look out for us, in terms of it's feminine, it's masculine, it's everything in between. So anyway, Daisy, thank you so much for having me. Is there anything else you want to say, about your business? Which, go right on ahead, girl. And anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, you can find me on, Etsy.com/shop/Tsunami Rose, TSUNAMI. And, shout out to all my design team members. And if you want to join my design team, I'm looking for anybody. I'm looking for a lot of crafters right now. I think I want like 40 design team members would be my goal right now. I want a lot.
Wow.
So if anybody out there has a blog and loves to craft and can make 1 or 2 projects with printable designs, let me know. Hit me up, tsunami@yahoo.com. Mm-hmm. And just leave me your blog link and I'll check it out and like for sure, if you hit me up to be on my design team, you'll be on my design team. Like I don't tell anybody no. That just never happens.
Yeah,
Anybody wants to join is
I
awesome. No
remember
lie, yeah.
I was just like, oh, I've never designed for anybody, and I gave you this whole big thing, and you're like, you're in, and I'm like, yay!
I love everybody. Everybody does a great job. Like I said, at whatever level you're at, somebody else is at that level too. You know what I mean? So
We can all help each
it's all
other.
good.
Yeah, we can all help each other, and I think that's what's missing sometimes from our crafting community, that we can all help and learn from each other. And I know you could agree with that. Alrighty, I will definitely put all your links and your info on my blog. Well, blog site, whatever. It's EileenTheLittleCrafter.com. And thank you everybody so much for listening, and thank you, Daisy, so much. I'm sorry that we couldn't do this interview sooner. This was a blast, and I hope to have you again on the show. Alrighty, so good night, everybody. Thank you, Daisy.
Thank you.
Okay, let's